Thank you for joining me on another crafting adventure. My name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own layered photo birthday banner, and you're just going to learn so many new tips and tricks in this video. We'll be going over how to use offset, slice, the combine tool. We're also going to be doing some print then cut. So my hope is that you will learn a lot in this video. The supplies you'll need for today are a Cricut machine and a printer. You'll need a variety of cardstock. The cardstock I'm using today I got from Cricut. I'll be using plain black and some glitter cardstock. I also picked up some holographic cardstock at the dollar store. I'll be using some glossy sticker paper that I got from Tech Wrap. And for adhesive, I'll be using the Barely Art Glue as well as some sticky foam squares. You'll also need a string to string your banner up. So let's jump on to Cricut Design Space and get started. We're gonna open up a new project, and then we need to find our base shape that we'll be using for this banner. So one thing you could do is go over to shapes, and you could select a square or a rectangle or one of these shapes down here with the fancy edges. You can decide what you want to use, but I'm gonna do something a little different for this banner. I'm gonna go over to images, and I'm gonna search wavy stackable, and then click on free under filters. And what will come up is a template actually for infusible ink for mugs. We're not making mugs today, but we are gonna use this template. So if you scroll down, you'll see a few more, and the one I'm gonna use is design number M2B92B537. So if you want, you can just type in that number and you'll also be able to find this design. So I'm going to click on this image and click on Add to Canvas. Now, because we're not making a mug, we can get rid of this back layer here. So if you go over to the layer panels, click on that layer and then just click on Delete on your keyboard. And this is the shape we'll be working with. I'm gonna unlock the size by clicking the unlock button between the width and height. And I'm gonna make the width 5.5 and the height 4.4. And then I'm gonna rotate this image 90 degrees. So now we have the base for our banner. We are gonna duplicate this several times because we're gonna have this as a background for each of our letters on this banner. Right now, we're just going to duplicate it once. So above your layers panel, click on duplicate, and we'll set this one right beside it. Now this is going to be the back layer of our banner, which all our other pieces will stack on top of. So I'm going to make this layer black. So beside operation, we can change the color to black. Now with this duplicated shape, we're going to go up to offset, and we're going to grab this circle and bring it to the left side of that line. So we're making more of an inset. So I have this at minus 0.125, and then I'm going to click apply. So now we have two layers here. We've got our inset and our background layer. So we're gonna select both of those, go down to combine, and then click on subtract. And what that has done is remove that middle piece, so we have more of a border going on here. So I'm gonna make this border out of glitter pink cardstock. So let's change the color up at the top so we can get a better idea of what this is gonna look like. All right, so when we physically make this, when our pieces are cut out, this border will be glued on top of our black base layer here. So this banner is gonna say the word 40, and we're also gonna have a picture at each end. So I'm gonna select both of these layers, go above the layers panel, and duplicate this 6 times. And you can move your pieces beside each other so that we can see each of them separately. Now, if you have your screen at 100%, you won't be able to squeeze them all on the screen. So what you'll need to do is go to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and zoom out. All right, so now we have the base of our banner. So let's go ahead and start with our text. I'm gonna insert a text box, and I'm gonna type in the letter F. Now for each letter, I will be making a separate text box. So I have the letter F right here. I'm going to change the font before I continue. So under font, I'm going to choose one of my system fonts that I have uploaded called BD Cartoon. And I'm going to resize my letter here so it fits within our banner. So the size of my font is at 128. So let's go ahead and make our other letters. So grab the text, type out your letter. It should still be the same font that you chose earlier, and make sure all your letters are the same font size. So I'm going to change this O to 128, and now we have the same size font as our F. And then just go ahead and do that to each of your letters. All right, so our banner is starting to look more like a banner now that we have some text, but we want to add some more embellishments. Now these letters, I'm actually going to do a kind of holographic cardstock that I picked up from the dollar store. So I'm going to make this a little lighter of a gray and just change the color on each of these. And now I want to add one more layer on top. So we're going to do something similar to what we did when we made the layers for the background. So let's grab our F here and we're going to duplicate that. Go up to offset. And once again, we're going to have our little circle on the left side of the line, creating more of an inset. And I'm going to set this at negative 0.097 inches. And then click on apply. And now, just like we did before, we're going to select both of those layers, go over to combine and click on subtract. And now beside operation, we're going to change the color because this layer is going to be a glitter teal kind of color. And then we can place this layer on top of our original F here. So as you can see, we've got a number of different layers. We've got our black base layer, we've got our pink border, we've got our holographic F, and then our glitter outline of the letter. So let's go ahead and continue to create borders for each of our other letters. So select your letter, duplicate it, go up to offset, and the last setting you used should still be the same setting. So I don't need to change anything right now. It's still set at negative 0.097. So all I have to do is click on apply and then select both of those layers, go to combine and subtract, and then go ahead and change the color. So our banner is starting to look more like a banner now. And like I said earlier, I do want to add some photos. So I thought it would be fun to put a baby photo at the beginning. And then after the word 40, we'll add a more recent photo. But before we do that, let's create a quick template. So on the far left of our banner here, we've got our background and our border. We're going to move our pink border out of the way a little bit, click on that black layer, and then back up to offset, keeping that dial to the left of the line, and we're going to move this down a little bit. So I have it set right now at minus 0.444, and then I'm going to click apply. So if we put this pink border on top, you'll see we can still see the black there, and that's what we want. So let's pull this gray shape that we just made down, and let's zoom in here, and we're going to click on that shape and use offset one more time. So back up to offset, and this time we're going to drag our circle in a little closer towards that center line. So now we're at minus 0.097 and click apply. So now we have both these layers here. Now this gray layer in the back, I'm just going to quickly duplicate that. So go above your layers panel and click on duplicate. And I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to put this black layer on top of the gray layer. And because I moved it, I need to line those up again. So I'm going to select both those layers, go up to align and center. And I still have both those layers selected. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and click on combine and subtract. So we just created another border. Now this border is going to be the same color as the ones we made for the letters. So let's go ahead and make it that blue color. So this image is going to become our photo in a few minutes, and this layer will go on top of it. But we are doing this with two different photos. So let's go ahead and select both of these layers and click on duplicate. So we have one for the beginning of our banner and one to go at the end. So So let's go ahead and upload those photos now. So click on upload. Now I've already uploaded a bunch of pictures here, but I'm going to quickly show you how to do that just in case you'd never uploaded a picture before to Design Space. So click on upload image, and you can either browse your photos here or grab a photo from your computer and just drag and drop it. Because this is a photo image, you definitely want to choose complex to pick out all those small details. And then go ahead and click on continue. There's nothing we need to do on this screen, so go ahead and click on apply and continue. And then you'll see two options here. We have cut image and print then cut image. Make sure you select print then cut image. And then you can go ahead and give your image a name and add some tags if you'd like to. And then click on upload. So I'm going to use this photo that I just uploaded. And I'm also going to use this photo right here. So I have selected both of those, and then I'm going to click on add to canvas. These photos loaded rather large, so we're going to shrink them down. For those of you wondering, that is me as a newborn baby, and yes, I did have a lot of hair back then. So we're going to grab the gray layer that we just created, and we're going to go up to the top under operation, and we're going to change the operation from a basic cut layer to a guide. So right down at the bottom, click on guide. And you'll notice that this layer has now turned into this fine red outline. And that's what we want because we'll be able to see through this layer. Now this layer is going behind my picture, so we need to move that to the front. So go up to arrange and then click on bring to front. So now we can place this guide layer on top of the photo. One thing to keep in mind is we don't want to adjust the size of our guide layer, but you can adjust the size of your photo. So if your photo is too large, you can shrink that down a little. Grab your guide layer and place it on top. And then just make the adjustments with the photo as needed. And then when you're happy with the placement of your photo, we're going to select the photo and the guide layer, go down to the bottom right and click on slice. And now we can remove our extra pieces. So we have our guide layer here, which we no longer need, so we can delete that. And then we have our extra pieces here that we cut our photo out of. We can delete that. And then we're left with our baby picture here. So now we can place everything together. So we've got our black background layer, our pink border, and then we're going to put our baby picture on top of that. And then we have our blue layer that will go on top of that. It's going underneath right now, so I can go over to arrange and click on bring to front. And that is how we're going to layer this once we cut everything out. Now we have to go ahead and do the same with the other photo here. So I'm just going to quickly go over those steps again so that you get this. We'll move our border layer to the side, grab that gray layer, change the operation to a guide, place the guide layer over top of the photo. You may need to arrange that layer and bring it to the front. Adjust the size of your photo, and then when you're happy with everything, select both the guide layer and your photo and click on slice. And then just remove those extra pieces. And now we can take this picture and put it at the very end of our banner. And if we zoom out, we can see the whole thing here. So this is what our completed banner will look like once we cut everything out and assemble it together. Now you may be wondering, how are we going to string this up? So instead of creating holes in each of these layers, we are going to make little tabs for the back of this design. Now if you wanted to, you could take a hole puncher afterwards and just hole punch through it. But I like a cleaner look. So all I'm gonna do is grab a shape, select the square, and then I'm gonna unlock the square, and I'm gonna keep the height at 2 inches, but I'm gonna make the width 0.5. So now these little tabs here, I'm gonna place glue at the top and at the bottom, and then I'm just gonna glue them on the back of each of these banner pieces. So because we have 7 banner pieces here, I will need 14 tabs because we'll put 2 on each of them. So I'm gonna duplicate this a number of times until I have 14. Now it doesn't matter what color you make these tabs because no one's gonna see them, but I will be making them with cardstock. So now the fun part, we get to click on Make It and watch our creation come to life. So we have 9 mats here. So our first mat are our photos, which we need to print out, and I will be printing these out on A4 glossy sticky paper. So make sure you have your material size correctly. Mine's at 8.3 by 11.7, which is A4 paper. My next mat here has all our glossy holographic letters. Now, I don't have a 12 by 12 sheet of this holographic cardstock that I have. They're actually only small little 6 by 6 sheets. So we're gonna rearrange these letters just a little bit. So I'm gonna stick one in each corner so I can put a sheet of 6 by 6 cardstock on each corner of my mat. Now there's not gonna be room for this T here. So I'm gonna click on these 3 dots and click on Move Object, and we're gonna click on New. You can choose whatever color you want. I'm gonna select the gray here and click confirm. And what that has done is made an additional mat so my T can be cut out on a separate mat. So on mat 3, we have 4 of our black backgrounds, and then mat 4, we've got the other 3. Mat 5, we have all our little tabs that we'll be cutting out, and then we have mat 6 with our glitter cardstock outlines, and we also have one of those on mat 7. And then on mat 8, we've got our pink outlines as well as on mat 9. So let's go back up to the top and click on mat 1, and we're gonna get these photos printed out. So I'm gonna click on continue. I'm gonna select send to printer. We're gonna keep the bleed on for these images. We're also going to use system dialog, so turn on that toggle and then click on print. Now the system dialog box will pop up, and it usually comes up behind the Design Space application. So if you don't see it popping up on your screen, move your Design Space application out of the way, and here is our print box. Make sure you have the right size paper selected, and then under media and quality, we're gonna change the quality from normal to best. I'm also gonna change the media type. We're gonna change this to photo high gloss paper. Then I'm gonna place my glossy sticker paper in my printer and click on print. So after our photos have printed out, we can place our photos on our mat and then go back into Design Space to select our material type. So I'm going to click on Browse All Material, and I'm going to search for acetate. Now the acetate setting cuts at 319 and it does 2 passes. So we're going to try this setting out and hopefully we get a good cut. And then press done. And then we can load our mat into our machine and have our photos cut out. If you're interested in learning more about print and cut, I do have a number of videos on the process, so I will leave those videos linked down below in the description. So here's our photos, and they cut out really nicely. And all I have to do is peel these off the mat. And these do have a sticky back on them, so we'll peel that off later on when we assemble our banner. Now that our photos are cut out, we need to go back onto Cricut Design Space and change our cut setting. So we're going to do page 2, and if you remember, that's the page where I'm using little small sheets of cardstock. So under base material, I'm going to click on Browse All Materials, type in hollow, and right here we have holographic cardstock, and then click done. So let's load our mat and get these holographic letters cut out. So here's a small pack of little cardstock sheets that I have, and I really like this holographic cardstock, which we will be using right now. After our holographic cardstock is cut out, we're going to switch the material setting again, this time to medium cardstock. And then after that, when we work on our glitter cardstock, we'll change our base material setting to glitter cardstock. So I'm gonna finish cutting all this out and then we'll assemble our project together. So once all our pieces are cut out, you're gonna layer them on top of each other. So we have our base black layer, and then we have our pink outline, our holographic letter, and then our blue outline. So to assemble our birthday banner, we're going to take some glue. I have my fine tip here on the Barely Art glue, and we're going to glue our borders onto the background and our borders on to the letters. Now, I'm not going to use glue for the back of the letters to adhere to our background. Instead, I'm going to use some adhesive foam, and that's just going to give it a bit more of a 3D effect, and those letters will pop off the page. Now, our photos are a little different because it does have an adhesive back. So let's start with this square here. So first I'm going to take our border here and apply some glue. And once the glue is applied, I'm going to carefully flip this over. You can use your craft tweezers as well for this instead of your fingers. And then we're just going to line this up on top and glue this down. Now, before I glue my border to my picture, I first want to put the picture on the background here. So let's do that. I'm going to start by peeling the backing back here, but I'm not going to peel it all the way off. I'm just going to let this top edge show. So I'm folding this back, and then I'm going to grab my square. We're going to line it up starting at the bottom. So make sure it's where you want it to be. I'm just eyeballing it. And then when you're happy with the position of your photo, you can go ahead and stick that top edge down. And then we're going to grab that backing and pull that down and press the rest of our sticker down. And it looks like I'm getting lots of glitter flecks on my face, but that's okay. We can always blow those off. Now we can grab our other border and glue that and place it on top. And there is our first one finished. Now I did spill a little glue on the edge, but that should dry clear. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble the rest of these, and then we will put our little tabs on the back. So we've finished assembling the birthday banner, and now what we're going to do is flip over each piece and add our little tabs. So to do that, I'm simply going to grab one of our tabs. We're going to put a dot of glue at each end. I might have put a little too much on there. And then I'm going to lay a pencil across the top, press down on the top, and then fold over the tab and press down at the bottom. Now, I did put too much glue on there, but no one's going to notice because that's the back. So we're going to hold that for a few seconds, and then I'll add the next tab. And there's our back tabs. I'm going to continue to do that to each one of these, and then I'm simply going to weave a string through each of them. All of our tabs are now on, so you can go ahead and grab some string and just weave it through each one, and then you can hang it up wherever you want to. Now, we did use glitter cardstock today, and it has created quite a mess. So one important thing to remember to do after using glitter material with your Cricut machine is clean off your Cricut blade. Just grab some rubbing alcohol and a cloth and just wipe it down to get all those glitter chunks away from your blade. If you have any glitter on your machine as well, it's important to clean that off. And of course, your craft space, you're going to want to clean all this glitter up too. If you're not using glitter, you're not going to have that problem. So here's the final project. I just love how it turned out, and it's just going to add a little something special to my birthday. Let me know in the comments if you plan on making a birthday banner for someone special or maybe for yourself. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them below in the comments, and I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.